Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on today's podcast. I'm Mansa and I'm thrilled to have Anjan Pathak, co founder at Advantage Circle, with us today. And we're diving deep into the world of generative AI and its impact on HR technology and the excitement developments ahead. Welcome, Anjan.
Yeah, hi Mansa. Thanks for having me on your show.
Anjan, generative AI has been making waves. Do you think we are currently at the peak of the generative AI hype cycle? And what's your take on whether this excitement will keep going or if we are in for a reality check in 2024?
Yeah, I think hype cycle will definitely probably at the kind of the downside of the hype cycle. It has probably already gone down. If I look at Google Trends, generative AI, the search for generative AI has already gone down. So I think we have already seen the hype cycle, and I don't think it's kind of going down very much because at the end of the day, right, what we have seen is like any technology, right? There will be a hype cycle for sure, but what we can see is how many people are actually using it. And what I see, right, personally, I am myself using it a lot, the generative AI, and we can see that we are going to take it very seriously. So people like us, we are very cautious about these kind of things. So definitely, I was not part of the hype cycle. I really saw how it grew and wanted to really see the benefits and effectiveness of the technology. So what I can say is that it is definitely going to stay. It's just that probably the crazy demand for generative AI has probably slightly gone down now. The other thing that's quite interesting is that it's just generative AI which has gone through this hype cycle. But actually, there is a lot of other AI technologies as well. For example, computer vision. Then you have got autonomous driving. So those technologies haven't grown that much, or they never went through a hype cycle because I think they are pretty difficult, or rather, these are difficult technologies to develop. But generative AI suddenly took off, right? So that's interesting thing to see. So because of the chat GPT, I think it just exposed a lot of people, and 3.5 version, it made really easy to use basically for people. So it went through that hype cycle. AI in general, I don't think it's going to go down. In fact, it's going to have its more presence over each kind of domain in the corporate sector and also in our day-to-day lives as well.
Absolutely, Anjan. Generative AI is indeed riding high, but it's essential to keep a balanced perspective. Now, let's pivot to our next topic. Given the buzz around generative AI, do you see this year to be a turning point for software as we know it? And more specifically, how is Gen AI influencing the landscape of HR technology and what's Vantage Circle's approach to this game changing tech?
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Okay, because with generative AI, right, we can see generative AI being deployed in various fields of technology. For example, even code generation. There is things like Code Pilot and all these things, which are based on generative AI and ChatGPT and Cloud. All these generative AI technologies can actually create codes, right? So definitely there is a paradigm shift in terms of technology. And what we can see is, right, unless we take it very seriously and we learn how to use it, right, we'll be probably falling behind. So definitely, this is a game-changing technology, and we will be, cautiously looking at it. What we are doing. I can give you a specific example. So in the employee, we have got this product called employee recognition, where we used to generate the messages. We need to generate the message for recognizing someone. And earlier, right, we had this thought, or in fact, we have developed a prototype where we'll be having about 1,000 messages, and randomly, right, we'll be picking up one of those messages, for someone to use. But now with generative AI, right, we have changed that and we have already deployed this. So now with generative AI APIs, actually we are dynamically generating the recognition message and giving it to the user. So we are already using it and we'll be using it more in the future.
Speaking of HR tech, Anjan, as a leader in this field, how have you personally seen generative AI impact HR processes? And can you share a specific example where Gen AI has effectively streamlined HR operations or where you see it making a significant difference in the future?
Yeah, definitely it is going to make a lot of impact. We haven't used, I personally haven't used a software to be which uses generative AI extensively because I think the all the software companies which provides its softwares, right, they are actually now trying to use them, generative AI technologies. For example, all the recruitment softwares, right? We use the recruitment software ourselves. They can actually now give us the right CVs matching the role of the job. That is not used yet, but that is definitely going to be a game changer, right? And then during the whole life cycle, of the employee, there are so many different stages that generative AI can help. Again, I can give you a specific example. For example, when the employee, now I receive a CV, right? I upload it to ChatGPT, and I generate the questions to ask, what kind of questions to ask, right? So that is a manual process I am doing. But then if you have, there is a recruitment software which uses this kind of generative AI technologies, it will automatically prepare myself that okay, these are the questions that you should ask based on the CV that you have received, right? And that is what is going to come in very near future in the recruitment space. Then take it to performance management. What I'm doing right now is again, uh, people submits their self evaluation form. What I do is I upload that self evaluation form into ChatGPT, and then ask it to come up with a plan for the next year, or the goal that I can ask for them to be in the next year. So these are the things I am doing manually right now using ChatGPT. But I think all the performance evaluation softwares will have these kind of technologies built in already. And then during other life cycles like career progression, career planning, I even used a formula. I asked ChatGPT to give me a formula for performance, the hikes that I need to give, because a typical hike is based on performance rating and the current salary or a grade. But it's a very complex formula. So I actually use ChatGPT to generate that formula and put it into the Excel, and that's how finally came up with this year's performance evaluation. But all these things, right? I think these are going to be embedded in softwares now, so that it will help us to become more efficient. This is definitely going to come in the future.
As AI's role in HR grows, ethical questions naturally arise. How does your team Advantage Circle approach ethical considerations when implementing generative AI solutions, especially in terms of data privacy and respecting diverse cultures and values?
Yeah, so I don't think most companies should have a problem, including us. We should not have a problem because generative AI works on large amounts of data, right? And when you talk about large amounts of data, any sensible, any company, it's a requirement almost that their database it's not the P2 identifiable or PII, which is personally identifiable information. They are already encrypted in our database, right? So if it's encrypted, then we cannot identify the user. We can only identify their characteristics like age, gender. These are all personally identifiable. These are actually not personally identifiable information, right? So those are the things that is identifiable. So and generative AI will ideally work on those information only, right? And based on that, it will probably give us some suggestions. So, but the personally identified information, which is the email ID or the name, for example, right? Those will be anyway encrypted. If we use technologies on top of this, right? On top of our database, our models will not be able to see this personally identifiable information, which means generative AI will not go wrong. It is safeguard the first personally identifiable information. So we don't see a problem. I think most of the companies should not see a problem. Uh, and as long as the personally identifiable information is encrypted, I don't think that will be a problem. And we are very concerned. We are very careful about that as well, that it doesn't get exposed, that kind of data. The other ethical concerns like whether this is ethically correct or not, I think there will be governance that will come very soon. Every country will have their own governance around and what is not allowed. So we definitely will be looking for guidance on those, and we'll have to follow the local laws, government laws of every country. For example, GDPR is affecting a lot of our operations, right? Similarly, I think there will be specific laws around generative AI. So eventually, every company has to follow local laws, local regulations around generative AI. Use of, I think, the AI technology, how much you can use and how much you can personalize.
Lastly, Anjan, the crystal ball question. Any predictions on what could be the killer app in HR tech that generative AI might enable in the near future?
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question. There can be huge amounts of application and HR apps specifically, right? Which will be probably using all kinds of AI technologies, not just generative AI. And when I think about applications, right, there can be applications around recruitment, around employee life cycle. But what I have been personally working is on the employee health and wellness space. And I think this is a very interesting generative AI can be used. Why I'm saying is because, as I said, or any kind of AI technology, because any kind of AI technology, right, it needs huge amount of data, right? So and usually in a corporate setup, right, you end up having a huge amount of data of various employees, which is not possible in individual, wellness or individual fitness, right? That's the case. For example, when it comes to current employee wellness space, most companies are happy giving employee health insurance, and of course there is a differentiation when it comes to employee health insurance given by employee and when it's taken by as an individual insurance, right? Personally, if you take it, there is a difference. And employers are taking the advantage of group insurance, right? Employees and employers both, they are taking the advantage of group insurance. But what about preventive wellness, right? Is there anything that generative AI can help in the preventive wellness space? Because there's so much of data around employees and how they interact in during their day-to-day lives, right? Can generative AI actually help them to keep well and fit? And eventually, that will hopefully and definitely will affect the company's bottom line, right? So I think it's about time that employers take it very seriously, the employee health and wellness space, and we look forward to use generative AI in this space and work as a group, as a team, and use really these technologies to improve the employee wellness.
Anjan, thank you for sharing your insights and expertise. It's been a truly enlightening conversation.
No, I think I really enjoyed the conversation. And as I said before, like I think this is an interesting space, how AI is going to affect, the future. And it is an exciting time to be there in technology area, and we are really looking forward to it. And thank you for having me, Mansa, for giving me a chance, opportunity to talk about it.
Thank you once again, Anjan. And to our fantastic viewers, thanks for being a part of podcast. If you have any questions or topics you would like us to tackle in the future, reach out on social media. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep the questions coming.